Hi guys. Today, what I'm going to talk about is our gaps to growth. Right? Yesterday, we discussed our potential and we discussed unfulfilled potential. And I said unfulfilled potential sounded so defeating, whereas potential sounded so good. There was so much of excitement, there was so much of capacity. If you have not tapped your potential, then you will die like a good singer who never sang for others and died with his voice inside him. That's what happens when you don't uncover your potential and follow your heart, follow your path. What I'm going to share about is some misconceptions about our growth. The first misconception that hit me tremendously was the assumption gap. What do you think is the assumption gap? I've not thought about how can I grow my own love for, helping others, allow being there for others to grow. It's only recently that I joined the John Maxwell team that I realized, okay, this was my passion. If you don't take the onus of your intentional growth after formal education, no one will. And I'm going to quote Bruce Springsteen when he says, there comes a time when you must stop waiting for the man you want to be and start becoming the man you want to be. Our growth in our desired path won't happen accidentally, won't happen because others desire it for us. Heck, they can't even see the desires and aspirations inside us. It is we who know ourselves best. If we take on even one small goal in our life and say, what am I assuming about this goal? What am I assuming about this dream of mine? And once you realize that you're assuming certain things, what steps am I going to put in place that my assumption now is closer to reality? Like recently, when I spoke with my coach, have you put a letter in place to reach out to mortgage brokers that you like? And I realized I had not. I had a database, but I had not put forth that letter. Now, if they don't hear from me saying, hey, I would like to do business with you, how are they going to assume that I have time for them or I have the patience or I'm inclined to work with them, right? In the same way, have you ever hungered to do something more? And have you reached out to the people who can guide you, who can help you? Have you thought about the paths that will bring you one step closer to the goal? If you do put the plan, steps in place, small steps, not the big goals, the small steps in place, then you will finally find that you have reached your goal. Like vegetables and weeds, one takes effort, but the other takes over so easily we can give up, but we stick to the plan, then we'll have a beautiful garden. Our garden is our intentional growth, right? And intentional growth is about planting what we desire in our life. Intentional growth is not about being the result of what others want us to be. Our potential is our God-given talent, our God-given gift. And when we work with our potential, we never feel like it's work. We feel like it's pleasure. We feel like, oh, I can do this all the time. Intentional growth can only happen when we have discovered how and where we want to grow. There is a misconception about growing in the way we want to be, that the misconception can be a simple misconception like assumption growth, assuming that we will grow in the path we want to be. A lot of initial growth can come through your work, through the companies that you're employed with, and a lot of them might not. Often with many people, that's one case of burnout, when they're burning out, when they are working and working, but they realize that they're not working from their heart or it doesn't touch their soul. That assumption is an assumption. When we put steps in place, then it makes a big difference. There is a set growth path in place. After a formal education, working on our skill sets, working on our passion, working on our potential requires thought, requires reaching out to people in that industry, requires having coach and mentors so that we are fulfilled in the way we are called to be. So my nugget for today is, are we just assuming we're going in that direction? Are we just having a thought that this is what we want to be? Or are we taking many steps? I want to see that my friends, including me, myself, we move from assume to assure. We replace the last ME in assume with the last RE in assure. ME is my expectations, assure is real expectations.